Standards affect all aspects of our lives. Standard practices do not exist in a vacuum. As a matter of fact, standards and standardization are precursors to standards practices. Standards specifies minimum requirements that must be met for a product, process, system, or service. Measurements, materials to be deemed safe in all ramifications. Reliable, dependable, orderly, among others. It can be said that when there's not lone law, there's no crime. And deviation from standards will certainly occur. But it has to be handled positively and on a sustainable basis too. The building industry is peculiar in the sense that there are codes and standards that governs activities from design to completion of projects. The efforts of the Standards Organization of Nigeria are the development or domestication of codes and standards in elaboration with key stakeholders, such as the Nigerian Society of Engineers and its corresponding committee on codes and standards must not go unnoticed. But we need to do more. Nigeria is situated in sub-Saharan Africa with its inherent weather conditions different from that of the temperate and other regions. Hence, the need for the development of local codes and standards that addresses these peculiarities. At the moment, there exists Nigerian Industrial Standard, NIS, that covers building materials such as cement, glass, steel, blocks, etc. And British standards, Euro codes are still being utilized in some quarters, while where is nothing wrong with the adaptation of foreign codes and standards, such adaptation needs to address the local conditions and peculiarities in the country. Adherence to standard practice, therefore, requires a robust monitoring framework, effective regulation, and diligent enforcement where necessary. At this junction, please permit me to share with you some of the steps the COREN has taken towards ensuring adherence to standard practices. By the avoidable incidents of infrastructural failures, including incessant building collapse across the country, investigation panel of COREN has been reinvigorated and now established in each of the 7 regions, with the disciplinary tribunal still domiciled at COREN headquarters. In recent times, due to the economic hardship and hyperinflation partly triggered by removal of fuel subsidy and streamlining of forex, rising prices of fuel, gas, and basic food items has affected the price of construction materials in an upward trend, and adherence to standard has become a challenge. A practical example is in the situation where manufacturers of block now modify their molds in some quarters. The 9 inches hollow block, which ought to be 450 by 225 by 225 mm, with a web thickness of 50 mm, now comes with much lesser and thinner web thickness. From a random visit conducted to some block industries in the FCT just last month, same also applies to the 6 inches hollow block, which ought to be 450 by 225 and 150 mm, with a web thickness of 37.5 mm. Steel reinforcements are also not spared, as in some instances, available supplies in the open market have been observed to fall short of the required diameters. These occurrences are a recipe for potential building collapse if the trend is not checked and or reversed.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.